e4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, a6, bishop g5, e6, f4, queen b6, queen d2, knight c6, castle queenside, queen takes d4, queen takes d4, knight takes d4, rook takes d4, bishop d7, bishop e2, bishop c6, bishop f3, rook c8, rook hd1, knight d7, bishop h4, h6, f5, knight e5, a4, rook g8, f takes e6, f takes e6, bishop e2, bishop e7, bishop takes e7, king takes e7, rook takes d6, rook gf8, rook 6 d2, rook f4, b3, rook cf8, bishop d3, h5, knight e2, rook f2, knight d4, bishop e8, knight f5, check, e takes f5, rook takes f2, f4, bishop e2, g5, rook d5, king e6, rook d8, g4, rook b8, h4, rook takes b7, f3, g takes f3, g takes f3, bishop f1, bishop c6, bishop h3, check, king d6, rook h7, rook f4, rook h6, check, king c5, bishop f5, bishop takes e4, bishop takes e4, rook takes e4, rook f6, king d4, king d2, rook g4, rook f5, rook g2, rook f4, check, king d5, king e3, h3, rook 4 takes f3, knight g4, check, king e2, knight takes f2, rook takes f2, rook g1, king d3, rook g2, Rook e2. a5. King e3. Rook g8. Rook f2. King c5. King d3. Rook g2. Rook e2. King b4. King e3. Rook g8. King d2. King a3. Rook e5. Rook g2. Check. King c3. Rook takes h2. Rook takes a5. Rook g2. Rook h5. h2. a5. Rook g3. Check. King d4. Rook g4. Check. King e3. Rook g3. Check. King f4. Rook g2. a6. Rook takes c2. b4. King takes b4. a7. Rook a2. Rook takes h2. Rook takes a7.